Robert Scoble shared a post that I ran across today on Facebook from a guy who indicated that he's lost close to $550 by funding Kickstarter projects that have never actually shipped him the final product. And I think this is one of the things that is a risk about Kickstarter, particularly with the hardware projects. I've funded a couple of non-hardware related video projects, partially because I knew the people involved and knew they had delivered things in the past, and also because I think that creating a video project is much more predictable than hardware. Hardware's got a bunch of inherent risks that go way past something that is a creative output like funding a book or a movie or a video series or something like that. And the thing about hardware is there's all these pieces that can go wrong. I mean, from sourcing all the parts that make up your hardware, to sourcing the right manufacturer, to sourcing the right logistics people, and all the little intricacies in between. There's bound to be like failed product. There's bound to be components that end up being bad that you need to replace. There's bound to be shipments that get misdirected. And so there's all these things that can go wrong. And many of the hardware projects that I've seen, and I've looked at a lot of them because I get press releases about them. People want me to write about the project before it's ever actually achieved funding in hopes that they're going to get funded. And I don't write about them because I don't have the confidence that the people who are working on the project are going to actually be able to deliver on what they're promising. And many times it's because if you look at their funding model, the funding that they're looking at doesn't account for any cost overruns. It doesn't account for the fact that if manufacturing goes bad and they need to replace 50% of the units or whatever, that they can actually do it. And so let's say somebody marches down the path, they get all the funding they need, they line up the parts, they line up the manufacturer, and everything in their production run is bad. Suddenly, they have spent all the money that they outlaid to do the project, and they have nothing to show for it but a broken product. And there's no way to go back and fix that because they didn't account for an additional cost overrun. And I'm not saying that's what happened in the case of this guy who lost out on his $500+, but it's something to consider anytime that you're looking at funding something before it's actually created. I'm much more inclined to wait for something to come to market and find out if it will actually work for my needs rather than kind of reading a slick marketing pitch and watching a video and hoping that somebody has described is actually going to meet my needs.